And welcome to Laguna Seca for round 2 of iRacing SkipBarber Premier Series. My name is Rob Sutherland and we are joined by Yoni Batman. Welcome, Yoni.
Hi, Rob.
Right, okay, so we've got a 30-minute race here. We're just waiting for the end of practice for riding with one of the drivers at the moment, who we race with, pole sitter, Christian Arana. Okay, so I can give you a quick rundown of the grid. In first position with a lap time of 1 minute 36.4 is Christian Arana. Second place is Javier Bosoms. In third is Keith Sharp. Fourth is Pierre Tupin. In third place is Wasic Rabzan. I'm going to get that name wrong all night. Sixth position is Martin Glusman. Seventh is David Four. In eighth position, Simon Van Dijn. That's another name I'll have wrong all night. And the ninth position is Larry Teague. 10th is Harry Sarijali. In 11th position, Andrew Shepherd. 12th, Benjamin DeVos. 13th is Paul Ilbrink, who we saw from the Sebring race at the weekend. In 14th position, Jason Dunnington. 15th position, James Wallace. And we have some people who haven't actually completed a lap in qualification, but we're just going to go to the grid now. We are sitting on pole position with the leader, Christian Arana. Everyone's finished grid map. I'm just going to wait for the lights. The revving of the SkipBarber engines. And we're off. And it's everyone's away. Clean start. We're going to go right down now to corner number 2, the Andretti hairpin up the start-finish hill.
Yeah, the yellow car of the 4 car of Wojciech Rabstin gets a good start, gets up from 5th to 4th. Meanwhile, Pierre Tupin, number 6 car, goes from 4th down to 7th.
Now everyone's exited Andretti hairpin all right, and they're just going to go into the 3rd corner under the Cooper tyres bridge, and they're flowing now into the 4th corner for what is the start of the hill, the great famous hill up to the corkscrew under the little Bosch sign. Everyone looks all right at the minute. Currently first position Christian Arana, second is Javier Bosoms, and third place Keith Sharp. And
Mika Virki, number 19 car, got an excellent start. He started way back in 19th, but currently is running in 14th. Picked up 5 places.
Okay, we've got a little bit of side-by-side action further back where Ryan Packard and Jason Dunnington have overtaken, it looks like, Jonathan Boutel.
Yeah, it seems like so far incident-free first lap around the Laguna Seca Raceway, and this track is not one of the easiest to drive around this race car.
No, absolutely, certainly with the SkipBarber and the fact that there's not a lot of downforce on them. We just see Christian go through corner number 10, up into the final corner, the really sharp first second gear corner, onto the start-finish straight. Everyone looks like they're through all right at the moment.
Yeah, the first lap is completed right now with Christian Arana taking across the start and finish line. He's the number 1 car in the 1.1 second during the first lap to Xavier Bosoms. So excellent first lap from Christian, and not bad for Xavier as well. But rest of the field just at least in terms of first lap seems to be outpaced. But Martin Glusman currently dropped down to 8th, was 6th. The midway point of the first lap, so I wonder what happened to Martin in the last 2 turns.
It looks like David Foray has gained a couple of positions on Martin Glusman and Simon Van in the middle of the pack, just around the first corner. We have a blinker. Harry Sajavi is blinking like mad at the moment. He's got a very high ping that's going to put off a lot of people close to him. Arana is still in the lead now. Christian was just under about 1.5 seconds faster than Javier in qualification, so I know that Christian's got a lot of pace on him compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, Christian has been the dominant force in during this week testing in the Laguna Seca. He's I believe he's set by far the fastest practice times around here.
Watching Keith Sharp now, who is under a lot of pressure from Wojciech Rabstin. They're going to the last corner. The red car versus the white car. Now we are now 4 minutes into the race, 4 minutes into a 30-lap race.
Indeed, lap 4, lap 3 underway, and as we see Keith Sharp being pressured quite heavily by Mr. Rapston, but so far not having success. But meanwhile, further back from places 11, 12, 13, there's a good pack. Andrew Shepard, Jack Broker, and Benjamin DeVos. Let's catch that battling trio on the screens right here. Right on.
A little bit of a lock-up from, I think it was Harry Shepard actually. Well, not Harry Shepard, sorry. Jason Dunnington locked up, just going into Andretti, dropped a couple of places. Certainly very tight at the back as Jason Dunnington goes a little wide into corner number 3. Looks like, as he said, Jonny Martin Grossman has dropped to the back of the grid, car number 12. Like he's had enough somewhere. He's back in pit row. He's missing an entire front of his car. So find out what happened to him.
Yeah, you have a look at that one.
Off. First, the corkscrew has claimed its first victim, so we can get a replay of that. Moving to the front of the grid, Christian Arana still miles in the lead as he's just coming around the last corner to start his 4th lap, lap number 4. Further back, Keith Sharp is now has the red car of Wozniak right in his mirrors. So they're going to come up to Andretti hairpin just over the crest of the hill. Down the long sweep towards Andretti, and indeed Wozniak takes the inside line but just gets cut off by Keith.
Yeah, going into that
racecraft there.
Yeah, going into that 180 left-hander is so tricky when you have to dive that much to the inside. It's just so hard to get the car to turn in properly and not to lose your back end.
See what the ramifications on that is. Keith, with he's going to go up this hill. He slides into corner number 3, which you can do on the Skippy. God bless him. You can really slide them around a little bit, but you have to be very, very brave to do that, especially on the circuit where there's not a lot of runoff.
Yeah, and speaking of that corkscrew incident, the events tab doesn't seem to catch that separate incident from the even despite the off track. So apologies for that, but no replay coming because I don't have any timestamp to jump on.
First retiree, then Martin Grossman has officially called it a day now. You'll have 19 other drivers racing.
Indeed, and Harri Sarja with the number 8 car, the Finn, that has had some connection issues the first 2 laps, is showing 5 seconds straight in white line in my screen, which would mean the disconnection or DNF, but then he appears for 2 seconds and disappears again for 5 seconds, so I'm not sure if, how long that's going to take before he gets a permanent DNF or possibly gets dropped from the server.
Wide into corner number 10 was Ravstin. He is now about a second behind Keith Sharp, so I don't think we're going to see any repeats of the previous lap shenanigans through the Andretti hairpin. Current top 5, first position Christian Arana, who is 4.7 seconds ahead from second position Javier Bosoms. Third position is Keith Sharp. Fourth is Wozniak Ravstin. Fifth position rounds out Pierre Tupin, 10 seconds behind the leader.
And still the numbers 9P, 9P10, P11, Paul Ilbrink, Jack Broker, Larry Teague, still having a nice 3-car train going on there. Let's kind of a quick view of that. Here we see Paul Ilbrink in the number 3 car, the white and orange car being tailed closely by Jack Broker, and Jack did gain at least 1 spot there. He was 11th at last time I checked, and now he's up to 10th.
James Wallace is in the pits. He's dropped all the way down with Benjamin Voss. Something's happened in the last lap because Benjamin Voss was riding in the top 10, I believe. He's now dropped out. And we have a couple of people in the pits, Ben and Christopher. I think I've just seen Mika Verke just leave the pits with a damaged front aerofoil. Front wing, sorry, there is a word for it. We are now 5 laps in as Christian Arana just crosses the line.
Yeah, Christian is really flying in here. I mean, Xavier manages to respond like within one or 2 tenths of a second, but the gap is already up to 2.7 seconds or similar, and behind Xavier, Keith Sharp is equally behind. So looks like the top three is going to separate themselves pretty fast in this race.
Action going into Andy Hairpin, the battle between Simon Van Dish in the number 10 car and number 15 car of David Ferrara and Paul Ilbrink as well. We've got a nice little 4-car cluster here now, just having a little bit of a battle through the first few corners.
Yeah, this track, despite its reputation of being causing a lot of incidents with easy touching the sand off tracks, and Corkscrew, of course, being the most dramatic corner amongst the trickiest corners of iRacing, still this track car combination provides a pretty good chance of overtaking. I mean, this car is not too wide. It's not too powerful, so it brings a lot of possibilities for overtakings in almost every single corner around the racetrack.
Keeping an eye on the battle up into the Corkscrew between Jack Brooker and David Fryer as they getting closer and closer coming up the hill. Jack dips around the outside because he doesn't want to lock up and follow into David's car. They're coming down the Corkscrew, coming down the rainy curve now. He has a run up on to David. And we've not seen a lot of action so far, Jonny. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. We sort of, I think we got stuck in the Lime Rock gear for that first race, where there were too much action to be spotted on cameras. But maybe some people just took this track maybe lightly, maybe skipped the week, or just some people obviously can't seem to find their way around the racetrack fast enough. This track is very demanding. I mean, you can't set your wheel wrong unless you want to end yourself completely into the sand, and usually that...
Speaking of which, Andrew Shepherd has entered the sand in the number 17 car around the rainy curve, I believe. We've also got Ryan Packard in the pits as well, so trying to see what's causing these. Like Ryan's just drove into the pits after having some contact with... Oh no, just had a wobble with Andrew Shepherd. So that's why Andrew Shepherd ended up in the wall. He's just coming out of corner number 10. He hits Ryan, and as a result, they both went into the pits for damage.
Yeah, let's have a look at the replay of what went on with Andrew Shepherd here. So we're currently
basically
running with Andrew Shepherd here in the replay. Go ahead, Rob.
Basically, a bit of a wobble caused a dramatic slowdown in the red car, and the blue one was contact. The blue one entered the wall pretty quick. Pretty much a racing accident. That caused by an error.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with like Andrew Shepherd was coming like a full dedicated through that corner, and there was no way he could spot that kind of dramatic error from the car in front of him. And yeah, that's basically what happens if out of that corner. There's just no way around it unless you could have gone towards the pit lane across the sand, but that's not something around this racetrack that you're willing to do like on free will.
No, especially with the car with an extremely low ride height. We're following Paul Ilbrink in 8th position, just coming through Andretti Hairpin. He is chasing down the number 10 car of Simon Van Doon. Behind him you can also see a battle that's still raging between Jack and David for 9th position. Currently the gap between the first two drivers, Christian Arana still in the lead, and Xavier Boussoms in 6.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, we would have a roll bar view from the number 5 car, Jack Breuker, who's still fighting with for that 9th place with David Foyer. Is that? Not sure how to pronounce that name.
No, I think we're going to have to take quite a lot of advice for these names, to be honest. Where we need one of our commentators, Marius, as up the hill, Paul Ilbrink, and just takes a little bit of a look at Simon. Then decides just get back in the line, maximise. It goes round the outside of Corkscrew, hoping to do a little bit of a switcheroo in your back, down the hill, use the camber to take the car with you.
I mean, well, Jack Breuker gets the number 3 car gets excellent. Sorry, the number 5 car gets excellent run out of down the hill, and does not just does not get himself side by side coming into that penultimate turn, but now approaching the last tight left-hander here, almost a hairpin-like corner. Just doesn't seem to get the power down enough to get a run on approaching turn 1, but excellent takeoff launch from coming out of the corkscrew. Jack almost had David in the coming into the penultimate turn.
Yep, good racecraft from those two drivers, and he obviously had to lift coming out of turn 10 in turn number 11. As we can see, David run a little bit wide, just takes the late apex. We can see those little red dashes of asphalt down just to show you where the apex is. And looking ahead, Paul is close again for the second lap in a row, going under Cooper tyres just before they start up the hill. In fact, these are two excellent battles, Yanni.
Indeed, by far the two best battles going on the racetrack. Both battles within 0.2 of a second, and doesn't seem, looking at the telemetry right now, and doesn't seem to be any other pairs within even a second.
Jack's done him. Jack's done David Foy. He just went down the inside of turn number 4. Or in fact, sorry, my bad, it was turn number 5. Just went down the inside, and David wisely just saw him come in, lifted a little bit, let him in, and unfortunately David has lost a lot of time now going up the hill. Just when, in these little cars, you need the power.
Yeah, you sure do, and currently Paul Ilbrink now battling for 7th position with Simon. So thanks to that mishap, that kind of break that one out of the two fighting pairs. So right now we're down to 2. Two racing cars, but one fighting pair.
Absolutely, and as you can see, Paul using all of his racecraft now just to find different lines. His exit out of corkscrew last time round wasn't the best, however he tried to make it up in the last corner there. And yeah, that's the style of lap number 10. Your first 5 positions are pretty much the same since the last time we told you 5 positions really. All we can tell you now is that Christian Arana did have a little bit of a wobble, lost about 4 seconds to Javier, but now has built up a couple of seconds against. There's still a 5.2 second gap between the first 2 drivers. Keith Sharp in 3rd position is now at 9.4 seconds behind, so we see a slow driver in front. That's James Wallace, another one of the lap drivers. He's currently at 17th position, 3 laps down. Wisely pulled into the infield just to let the faster drivers lap ahead past.
Yeah, we just saw the onboard view from Paul Ilbrink that when these two came into turn 1. Paul decided to take a very wide line into turn 1. The double apex left-hander, he went very wide and just tried to gain as much speed coming out of that turn as we saw. There are several sort of semi-safe ways through that turn, but always when you go to that outside lane, there is and we got a Mo incident with a corkscrew.
Well, that very briefly almost became the battle of 3, a 3-way between Paul Ilbrink drifting round corner number 9, rainy curve, and Jack Burrows now got on him just as he comes in corner number 10 down towards the last corner. Just goes on the outside. He's going to do a little switch, I think. He's kindly been a little bit nice just to let him have a little bit of, just let him have the run through. Don't commit. You're only a 3rd through the race. Try that maybe in the last sort of 3-4 laps.
Yeah, let's have a look at what happened there in the corkscrew with the Simon.
You reckon it was it looked to me like Simon was looking at his mirrors a little bit too much.
Yeah, it was a weird mistake. Yeah, he just so I think it was slightly too defensive going in there. I mean, he took a very deep entry into the corkscrew, went very far to the left, which is not the best way to take the corkscrew. As we can see right now, they're coming into high uphill in the replay. The car in front of Simon takes just way too far into the left. There's no way to turn the car in going that deep into the left. You get a black flag, you had the slowdown penalty, but he had to slow down just enough to get 2 cars by him, so that black flag is going to be compensated with that, but that cost him a lot of ground.
Okay, so trying to find out, Mr. Ilbrink is currently just been overtaken by Jack Broker. I think that was at the start. In fact, it was into corner number 5 again. Paul went a little bit wide. Jack ducked himself up the inside. Now Jack has a run up the hill towards a corkscrew. I think it's going to be, as he comes down a corkscrew into Rainy, he's going to be fairly comfortable with that. He's certainly driven through this pack quite successfully.
Yeah, excellent drive so far from Jack, and I think next car in his list is the blinking Finn, Harri Saarijärvi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's not going to be nice, is it? Looking at that
Yeah,
blinking.
that's definitely
as you can
not
see,
nice.
he's taking it quite easy at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, there's a variety of opinions on different with the amongst the community of what to do with these kind of people that have the internet connection issues. It's not something they can. Sometimes they can do something about it personally, or sometimes they can't. But yeah, that's always a tricky part. When you're coming from behind, you're much faster. But if you just happen to collide with a car that is blinking that badly, it's always a dangerous factor. And as we can see, Harri does a mistake, including his blinking. So Jack caught him pretty fast, and that is not a pleasant situation, because now Jack is coming under pressure from Paul.
Yeah, you can see where Jack's got his reluctance as well. He doesn't want the blinking car in front of him to have a slight accident. He wants it to have a fairly big one, so he can know that it's off the circuit. He's now coming under a lot of pressure.
That will be interesting to see if Paul tries a risky maneuver, since he knows that, obviously, or realizes that Jack is not going to do any extra risks sitting by the blinking car. But it will be interesting to see whether Paul capitalizes on it and just makes a risky move of his own, looking a wide line into the corkscrew, hoping to get a better run off from it, but nope, not like this time.
Like maybe next time around as they come up the hill, certainly Jack is going to back them up. A little bit of a wobble there.
Yeah, very sideways coming out of that left-hander.
But you can drift these cars, but there is a point when they do want to snap, they certainly snap very quick.
Yeah, indeed. There's like a fine line between a pleasant drift and a snappy drift, man. That was at the very limit of a nice drift. But I'm not sure if he actually intended to do that, but that was under control, I'd say.
Right, okay, so start lap number 13 now out of a third lap race. Unsurprisingly, the top 5 still exactly the same as I last told you.
Yeah, top 5 with no changes at all. In fact, top 6 no changes at all, if we exclude the fact that Harri is blinking like a maniac. So every other second he finds himself in 6th place, and every other second he finds a DNF. But yeah, Christian Arana with the number 1 car is dominating the field right now. 7 seconds between him and Xavier Busums. Keith Sharp in 3rd, Mr. Rapstin, I'm not gonna even try to pronounce his first name, in 4th, Pierre Tupin 5th, Harri in 7th, should be in 6th, right? No,
yeah, no, he's in 6th.
Dropped down to 8th now. No, it didn't drop down to 8th, it's just blinking. Yeah, now he's dropped down to 8th.
And he's let him past, yeah, he's let him past. He
yeah,
just
that was a wise move.
Yep. So that's shuffled up a little bit. We now have, Paul now has the ability to probably get stuck into Jack, but Jack's now not got a blinking car in front of him, so he's going to put the hammer down again, because he's had a couple of slow laps. He's going to try and stretch away. Yeah,
that's interesting to see what times Jack is able to pull off right now, since he got past Harri. The last lap, full lap behind the blinking Finn was 140.462. So let's see if he manages to get himself below 140s right now.
Okay, so they are now over for lap number 14. The red car of Ryan Packard, just let them all pass nice and cleanly.
And indeed he does. 139.657, so 1 second per lap lost because of the blinking car.
Yeah, and further back as well, he was held up by in that pack of 2 and 3 Farden as well. So he was pulling 130, high 139s, low 140s quite easy. So we'll see his true pace sort of appear, but it's not down in the Christian Arana paces. He's currently setting 137.2s.
Yeah, he's the only car in the field as a whole to reach below 138s. So dominant pace set by Christian Arana here, and he is one of the top candidates to win the series, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. So no real fights on the circuit at the moment. Wozniak and Pierre for 4th and 5th are about half a second apart from each other. Keith Sharp has managed to stretch away from Wozniak, who was fighting him quite heavy at the start of the race.
Yeah, David Foyer catching Simon Van Duyen from P9 for P9 caught him 2/10 in that last lap, but now the gap is stretching up back to from 0.7 up into 1.1 seconds. So for a second I thought that was going to be a possible battle around the racetrack soon, but we're just going to have to wait slightly longer for that one. Meanwhile, Pierre, number 6 car Pierre, catches 4th place from Mr. Repstein.
Oh, big drama then. So something has happened to the number 4 car. Must have been a big error. I think he was held up actually on last corner.
Yeah, there seems to be an off-track situation going on with Mr. Repstein. I'm not sure if that's what caused it, but
corkscrew, I think.
Yeah, we'd have a quick look at what went on there. Since it's so close to happening in a very short, in a recent history. So let's see what exactly went on. It doesn't look like corkscrew. It looks like T1 to me, but yeah, it's maybe not had that off track. Maybe had nothing to do with the overtaking itself. It was more just touching over the curb or something like that. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, small off track, but nothing dramatic. But yeah.
So 16 laps in, Christian Arana is your leader, just going out of corner number 2 and really hairpin into corner number 3 and up the hill, fairly untroubled. Not a car. He's currently 14 seconds ahead of second, so he's absolutely, I think he can drift it through corner number 3, corner number 4. To sort of enjoy himself for the next 14 or so laps. Unless he runs out of fuel, which would be hilarious.
So we're currently looking at the battle for 4th place, which seems to be the only battle worth watching currently on the track, as we're just slightly across the midway point of the race. It's lap 16 underway, and Laguna Seca Raceway. You're watching a live broadcast from SkipBarber Premier Series, iRacing's Premier Series, which gives the top runners a chance to race the actual car, the SkipBarber car, in not sure what track it was. Do you have any?
I think, well, Skips run out of. They certainly do run out of Laguna Seca, don't they? There's, I think, there's a school at Laguna, and as well as Lime Rock, and obviously the SkipBarber. So I think they're all dotted all over America, really. We just saw we just saw Rosiek take a really bit of a lunge, got very close in corner number 5. It's just backed off now as they come out of the corkscrew. And Johnny, that's a great prize, because it's not just for people based in America; it's for anyone. And you can live in Timbuktu, and they'll take you out there for the race, for the test.
Yeah, indeed. And I'm surprised to actually see currently the races we're looking at right now. It's split equally to 3 splits in this race, and I'm surprised to actually see only 3 splits in the current start, because I was pretty sure that we could get 5 to 6 splits based on what track it is. It's a free track. The car is something that most people possess, and like you said, the prizes are excellent. So it would be worth at least trying if you never raced a real race car, and if you love SkipBarbers and you love new experiences. That would be an excellent. It's an open series for everyone who has enough rating and who owns the car. So yeah, excellent prizes for. Price for something to win a simulator series.
Okay, just looking for down the order. I think David Farey has had a bit of an issue in the last lap. I think he's dropped to 10th, unless he was still in 10th. My telemetry showing me that something's happened to him. Only 55 seconds behind the leader. The next person to be lapped by Christian looks to be Jason Dunnington in 13th position. Jason Dunnington is in Team Northwest.
I'm currently looking at the race leader at the moment, Christian Arana, who was pretty much seems to be doing his normal practice routine. Doesn't make a single mistake, and keep slapping hot lap after hot lap. Still nailing below 138s every single lap, and just being ahead in his personal second numbers. Nobody else even getting below 38s, so impressive stuff from Rana here.
Yep, he's just hitting the lines, hitting the braking zones. Drifting in, what a lovely little slide through that corner. And we're just going to go in car with them now, just to see the experience. If any of you guys watching, if you viewers haven't watched a SkipBarber before, it's a bit of a thrilling event. A lot of people race them purely because there's not a lot of downforce and there's a lot of sliding around. He's just riding the curve, flicks it in, hits the apex nice and sweet, and drifts out to the corner, just maximising the speed going up the hill, because this is a hill where you need all of the revs. Just coming into the inside, and he's come up to the famous corkscrew. Look at the markers on the right. You're turning in. Oh, bit of a slide there. Don't have to turn too much, because you can just flick the wheel and then use the camber on the way out to pull you around as you fly into corner number 9, ready curve. Wide now into corner number 10. Just use a little apex, and you see that little red splash of paint on the right hand side. Aim for that. Coming around now to the last corner. A very, very low geared corner. Just slide it right round. That's the man who is very confident in the vehicle he is driving, as he comes over the line to start the 19th lap and the 3rd lap race.
Yeah, that's some vintage car control right here by Christian Arana. At least this week, clearly the fastest SkipBarber driver around the Laguna Seca Raceway. And it's always pleasant to watch this guy race. I personally don't have that much experience from SkipBarbers, but I've seen this guy running HPDs, and he tends to shine over there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can see he's not letting those revs drop. You can see these tyres are shod with road tyres as well. They're the school configuration of the SkipBarber, which of course will be the ones that the winner of the SkipBarber Premier Series will be doing a little testing.
So back to battle for 4th position right now, as Pierre is coming under increasing pressure from number 4 car, or Mr. Rapstin, and these guys are not giving anything to each other for free, that's for sure.
So what basically happens, it looks like they're getting quite close to each other. One of them makes an accident. Either, let's see, corner number 5 does love that corner. Does close a massive amount of space. You can take that quite a fast corner. Obviously you've got to maximise all the speed, because you've got to take that up the hill.
So currently
run a little bit wide through corner number 6 up Rahal Straight. You can do that. Into the corkscrew they are about to go.
Yeah, currently watching a rear wing camera view from Pierre's car, who is running currently in the 4th position, being chased by the red car of Mr. Rapsin in the 5th position.
And it looks like Wolzek's dropped off quite dramatically on that uphill and downhill section.
Yeah, he probably had a slowdown because of that was he lost 3 seconds, pretty close to 3 seconds coming out of the corkscrew, so I'm pretty sure he got a slowdown penalty. Just caught the inside curb coming downhill just slightly too much and got himself a black flag. Has to slow down enough to compensate the gained time, which is usually like equals to losing 1 to 2 seconds from your lap time that would have been coming without that off track. So slight penalty suffered by Mr. Rapstin, and with 14 laps in the books, I'm not that sure if he's going to be able to catch Pierre in the remaining laps.
Well, we have a 3-way fight back for 8th position now. Simon Van Duyn, who we spent quite a lot of time with earlier. Harry, the Finnish chap whose internet connection seems to have worked itself out, as they fly down into the 1st corner. They are followed by David Farah as well. Just takes a wide line now. He wants just to come in, hit the apex, but he does have Larry Teague behind him as well.
Yeah, I think David behind these guys just decided to take it hold steadily and just take the wider line in case something dramatic happens in the inside line.
Yeah, and we are now getting what we call on Glacier TV a Trilly train, saying thieved from another television program, but looks like Larry Teague's just been able to just sneak up on the back of this three-car train as well, because obviously they are being slowed down by Simon.
Yeah, this is going to be a good four-way, fatal four-way from the WWE terms.
Can we steal that one as well? We'll steal that one. Fatal four-way. Don't mind a bit of plagiarism here. Right, now, so fatal four-way are going to go up into the corkscrew.
Yeah, everyone getting it
And I like.
through very nicely, and no dust coming off the air from the right-hander as we saw, so nobody getting any problems getting a black flag there, and it's very easy to get actually. You don't have to have your half the car across the through the inside curb. You just have to clip the sand just slightly too heavily, and even though you would not gain any time at all, the simulator does punish you for that. So actually a good thing, but every time you're in the heat of a battle and you just miss your apex slightly, and you just think, oh, phew, I got away with it, and oops, you didn't.
Well, it is a blind corner. We can see now there's a little bit of gap between those that four-way. We now have a fight now between Larry and David, who had a bit of a
oh, with a spin! Simon in the lead of that pack just loses control and drops from 7th, I think it was, back into 10th. Sorry, 11th.
That was caught live on camera. We've missed a few today, but that was live. That was a spin through the first corner. It's so easy to do round here at Laguna Seca. That's very punishing now for Simon. Simon was lapping in the 141s, high 140s as well, so he was obviously having a bit of a mare with those guys behind him.
Yeah, this car, it almost looked like Simon just lifted his throttle just slightly too early, even though it's a corner area that we're talking about. You cannot really lift the throttle completely off with this car at all, because once you do that, it just simply starts to snap. It doesn't matter what corner you're in. This car is just this car does not like being driven without throttle. So even if you're going through a corner, you have to have a little bit of throttle on just to avoid any snappy oversteers.
Yeah, likes a bit of trailing throttle, as do a lot of cars in iRacing, I find.
True that.
They are now exiting the corner this three-way now. Hopefully, it gives David the opportunity to catch back up with Harry. Harry, who has stopped blinking.
Yeah, currently following the P9 car. So P9 number 13 car of Larry Teague, currently behind the car. Losing the most with these three cars, and the last lap so far, David Foyer or Fayer being the fastest of these three cars. The yellow car in the middle just did a 140.8 against Harry's 141.1, so 3/10 a lap, catching the leader of the trio.
Okay, well, none of the drivers have really dropped under the 140s all race. Hopefully we'll be able to see them all catch each other again. You can get a slight tail up the hill when you are quite close as they go through corner number 5.
And oh my God, the leader Christian Arana just did an insanely slow lap time. He dropped to 138. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. He's been charitable. Look, or he's just driving a little bit slower just to take a look around. If you can see his family, the virtual world.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that.
No, absolutely. The first three are still the same as they were when they started off. This can be, this obviously can be something that's caused by the way they set up the grids for the Premier Series. There is a massively mixed class level that are racing today.
Yeah, indeed. For those of you who don't know, the current split or the race split that we're watching now is not top split, it's not bottom split. It's basically every split in this type of racing series is equal in terms of skill level. What it does is it takes all the racers who signed up for the series or for the race, and it splits them equally so that the fastest runners gets shared into separate splits, and then then it makes a sort of well, it's called a snake split for the very reason, because the drivers, when you place them into the splits, it tends to do a little bit of snake figure to sort them equally, so that basically in the end you have the fastest guy and the slowest guy in the same split.
Okay, Simon Van Duyn's race is going from bad to worse because he has been caught for 10th position by Jonathan Boutel, the resident sports car expert in iRacing world. He's now position number 11 still. They are both 1 minute 24 behind the leader. Getting quite close. Like Simon's not been able to get back into his rhythm since his early accident in corner number 1.
And something happened to Jonathan Boutel, the number 9 car, last lap, because he did a 1:45.9, and Simon did a 1:42.0. Simon gained one position back there, so Simon regained 10th place, but he's still 2 or 3 positions from where he started from after that spin.
Okay, so an interesting story for Simon then, who started in 8th position, so he gained a couple and then lost a couple. Currently sits in 10th position.
Yeah, that's the kind of race I like. I prefer, at least personally. I like whether or not I lose or win, whether it's for P1 or P15, as long as there's proper fighting going on through the race. I don't care what position it's for, so I hope that Simon at least is having his race thinking like that.
Okay, so out the front of the grid, looks like Christian doesn't really mind what race he has either, because he can just leisurely stroll it around, posting a 1:37.8 on his 24th lap, which has started lap number 25. 5 laps to go then for the leader until we see the checker flag.
Indeed, and as we're getting into the last 6 laps of this race, Larry Teague in P9 is trying to catch David Foyer, and half a second separating these two, so we'll have a pretty good fight in our hands the last 6 laps. Especially if Larry keeps his pace up. He matched the lap time last time around.
Well, we could have a bit of commentator cursor, I suppose, but the last few laps is normally we see the hardest fighting, especially when you are quite close. You drop through the corkscrew there. First 11 drivers still on the same lap. We have had retirements from Wozciech Rabstein, Benjamin DeVos, Andrew Shepherd, the Club England driver, Ryan Packard, James Wallace and Martin Glussman.
Yeah, 20 cars in total started this race and 6 retirees, so pretty high percentage. Of course this track is demanding and all that stuff, but like surprising amount of DNFs, considering that not that much like big crashes or 3 cars coming together or something like that. Despite we're missing those, we still have 6 DNFs, so pretty high number, I'd say.
Yep, absolutely. And currently the leader is rolling on his 26th lap, just up into corner number 4, up the hill. He is trying to catch Simon van der Veen. Gliding round still.
Yeah, the leading top 7 cars are through the whole race. Basically, Christian Arana be the only guy in the lead of this race doing below 138s. Then we have positions 2 to 5 doing steady 138s, and 5, 6, 7 places doing solid 139s. And after that, P8 and downwards, they're all doing above 140s. So a pretty clear margin with the top 7 runners.
About 4 minutes left.
Oh, somebody goes wide. Was it
David? That was David. That was David going long. Yeah, David going long, and he's just let Larry pass him. What a terrible mistake to make towards the end of the race. Just lost his braking coming down into that corner, which is incredibly... every so often you can drop a bit of concentration. It's certainly damaged his race now, because he's now down into 9th position.
Let's have another look at that. What went on with David here? David there. The in-car view of, and we can see what it took to make a slight mistake coming into that last corner.
Yeah, he just left that. He left that very late, the brake, didn't he?
I didn't manage to catch that quite well in the live picture, because I was focusing on more on what Mr. Teague was doing. But let's have a look at what Foyer is doing right now. Coming out of the penultimate turn, right into the last corner, and now he goes on to the brakes. Yep, way too late on the brakes. Goes over the right side curb, and the car just refuses to turn in and nowhere to go except through the grass. but excuse me, through the sand. But yeah, no harm done, no damage or anything, but lost position.
Jonathan Boutel is past Simon. He's got past Simon. He also had a bit of a off-track incident coming down corner number 10 as well, but he still maintained his position. So there's a little bit of drama going on around the back of the grid.
Yeah, meanwhile, no drama at all amongst the top 3 in this race. The whole race, the top 3 have been just cruising into the sunset.
Absolutely. Christian at the moment is 25 seconds ahead of his nearest rival. He can probably get out and push the car round, to be honest.
Yeah, currently following Jonathan Boutel on the TV here, running in 10th place, and seems to be racing over through the entire field right now, because the closest 5 we currently have is 1.6 seconds between Larry and David, so seems like a pretty open and shut case.
Absolutely, I think it's pretty much a dead and buried race unless we see any errors, like we saw before with David. We thought it was pretty dead and buried then, but then he decided not to brake for the last corner. Right, so okay, so the battle for the podium, not really won, about 3 seconds. 3.something seconds for Keith and Pierre. I think this is pretty settled. We're watching the closing laps. Christian Arana is on his 28th lap, and he's just catching the pink car of Jonathan Boutel. Okay, we're going to go in car now with the leader, just to see the amount of speed difference between himself and Jonathan. See if he decides to stay behind him.
Yeah, I don't think Christian is going to take too much risks look, in the last 2 laps of this race, unless the lap car in front of him just makes a huge mistake or just opens the door for him. Yeah, like he does there.
Just lets him pass there. You can see just coming out of corner number 10, there was just a lot more accuracy with the turn-in, the rotation of the vehicle, the touch of the apex, just a lot more smoother.
Yeah, but as we saw, even though it was smooth, but Christian still had to do a counter steer move there, going into the inside, because he couldn't open the throttle early and keep the lock on and just use the whole track. He had to do very steep entry, and this car does not like that.
No, and you can see he did throttle steer quite a lot around the second of Andretti hairpins there. He's now on his last lap number 29.
Yeah, second to last lap.
Sorry about that. I'll get to use the word penultimate soon. That's a lovely paint job on his car, isn't it, Yanni?
Yeah, it almost makes me feel like it was Easter.
Yeah, Easter. Makes me feel like a night out, to be honest with you.
So, 1.5 laps remaining for Christian Arana. A dominant drive from start to finish, which, by the way, that last lapping of the car just did his personal worst lap of the entire race, 139.010. How bad can this fly? Yeah, he will be devastated.
Yeah, he'll be devastated, absolutely devastated with that.
I mean, his average actually might pop above 138.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how he'll be able to show his face in the racing bar ever again. You can see the battle in front between Larry, who's caught up with David.
Yeah, currently we as Christian Arana starts his last lap, he's comes from the over the start and finish line right here, and the white flag is in the air for Christian Arana. One last lap to go, as we can have a quick view of number 13 car of Larry Teague, who is trying to catch David Foyer here. There we go. And half a second between these 2 cars, and these cars have, I think, over a lap and a half still to go. So a lot can happen amongst these 2 cars.
And I hope a lot does happen.
Yeah, indeed.
You can take
nothing bad, I hope, but I don't want to take the blame for that.
No. Absolutely. You can see they're getting quite close coming up the hill, but not as close as they have been throughout the race. We've seen some good fighting in the infield between all these guys. There's been a lot of room given. I don't think we've had much contact apart from the contact between, I think it was Andrew Shepherd and Ryan Packard. I don't think we've seen any other contacts apart from that.
No, indeed, we haven't. A very clean race has been. Right behind this battling duo, Christian Rana, right on screen right now, is going to shortly come across the start finish line and secure a second, well, should I say second victory, but victory here in the second week of the SkipBarber Premier Series in Laguna Seca Raceway in the SkipBarber Premier Series. So Christian Rana will, I would say, I will maybe increase his lead in the championship, because a lot of his rivals seems to be missing from these races, if I'm not mistaken. So Christian Rana does take the checkered flag right now, as we can get back to the racing battling duo that was just in front of this. Just in front of him, right here, battle for 7th place.
They are getting quite close. Javier Bosom just going to cross the line now for 2nd place. Keith Sharp, sorry, is exiting turn number 10 now.
Larry Teague trying everything he possibly have in his arsenal to just try and catch David, but does seems that it's slightly too far for Larry to try any last minute desperate maneuvers, but still strong run from these guys. I mean, these guys offered the most battling almost through the whole race. Larry, David, Harry, Jack, Jonathan, Simon, those 5 cars just were responsible for almost all the track actions around here. So.
And it was good to watch. This is the kind of car and circuit combination that racecraft sort of brings out, really. But we've not seen massive amounts of mistakes. We've seen quite a high number of cars retire. But as you can see, corner number 10 now, they both run down into corner number 11. We've seen the last ditch braking overtaking. No, we're not. We're both sliding out of the last corner. Looks like Larry's got a little bit of a run, but the position
he just runs out of time.
Not there for battling.
So P8 for David Foyer and P9 for Larry Teague in the end. So we could have
lovely.
We finally have all the cars across the start and finish line, so we can go through the final order.
Okay, so the final order is first position Christian Rana, 20 seconds behind him, taking the second step on the podium, Javier Bosoms. Third position goes to Keith Sharp, a whole 45 seconds behind Christian. That's the last place on the podium. Fourth position is Pierre Tupin. Fifth position is Jack Broker. In sixth is Paul Ilbrink. In 7th position, Harry. In 8th position, David Farr. In 9th position, Larry Teague. 10th position, Jonathan Boutel. In 11th position, Simon Van Dwayne. 12th position, Jason Dunnington. 13th position, Mika Verke. In 14th position is Joachim Boetdecker. In 15th position is one of our retirees, Benjamin De Vos. 16th is Wazuch Rabstein. 17th position, Club England's Andrew Shepherd. 18th position is Ryan Packard. 19th position, James Wallace. And bringing up the last position is Martin Gleesman. So, all that's left to say then is, Johnny, driver of the day.
I don't like hot lapping races for... So I wouldn't say Christian Rana, even though he dominated the field, but I would say driver of the day, Jack Broiker, number 5 car.
Yeah, good shout. Okay, unfortunately I do like hot lapping races, so my driver of the day goes to Christian Rana. Well done, Christian. That was round number 2 of the SkipBarber Premier Series on Glacier TV. My name is Rob Sutherland, and thank you for watching. Thank you very much to Johnny as well for stepping in and co-commentating.
Yeah, no problem, and be sure to tune in next Saturday. We're gonna go back live, I think 8 PM GMT with the TFR Super Cup coming from Daytona Road. So until then, enjoy your time.